Vegas Raiders, and it sounds like the Chiefs are trying to poach him away from a division rival. He may not retain his job if the Raiders, they're going to be bringing in a new head coach. If that guy decides to bring in a new staff of his own, especially if it's an offensive-minded head coach, he could be on the outside looking in. I'm very much up in the air about this move. He's been a part of this staff before. It just continues along that trend of, okay, you brought back Eric Bieniemy, when a large contingent of your fan base, I'm not going to say a majority because I don't know that for certain, but a large contingent of your fan base was advocating for you to bring in new blood, new ideas, people that hadn't been in the building in years past, hadn't maybe worked with Andy Reid before. McCullough is a name that has not only worked with Andy Reid, he's worked with Eric Bieniemy. He worked directly under those two guys for 3 years, helped the team to a Super Bowl in 2019, 2020. So, I don't know. I'm very lukewarm, I guess you could say, about this move. You could say that he did a tremendous job with the Chiefs running back situation in the 2018 and 2019 seasons. When he comes in, you've got the first 11 games of the year. Kareem Hunt was a one-man wrecking crew as a back. I mean, he was well on his way to a season where he was going to have 2,000 all-purpose yards, and then you saw the off-the-field issues sort of nip that in the bud fairly quickly. But when you lose Kareem Hunt, that could have been an absolute death blow to that running back room. But he brought along guys like Damian Williams and Darrell Williams and allowed those guys to make a huge impact on this Chiefs team as they made that run to the AFC Championship game in 2018. And then in 2019, when they get to the Super Bowl and ultimately win it, with Damian Williams arguably playing a Super Bowl MVP caliber game there. So, I mean, maybe it's too early. Maybe it's a situation where, yes, he's got a previous connection to Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, but it's not that it doesn't have deep roots, if that makes any sense. He's been away for quite a long time now. He has vast experience as a running backs coach, both in the NFL and in college. And I think that should appease Chiefs fans. I know that part of it certainly makes me feel better after you had a running backs coach and a wide receivers coach the last 3 years who had never done it before. Now you've got a wide receivers coach and a running backs coach, both of whom have close to 20 years experience each in terms of coaching those position groups. So it's a give and a take, I think.
Yeah, I know you're a little lukewarm. I for one, in my opinion, I think they've done a good job of balancing, bringing in some new blood in some of those position coaches with new ideas, but also bringing back some familiarity. I think for Eric Bieniemy, you've got a new wide receivers coach he's never really worked with. Bringing in another familiar face to help. I think it's a good balance, and I think for the most part, they've done a really good job, honestly, of bringing in some adults into these rooms, right, with a plethora of experience.
Yeah, I mean, McCullough's 53 years old. Of course, he was a running back in college, played the position at Miami of Ohio, bounced around professional football for a couple of years, spent a year with the Bengals, and then a year on the Philadelphia Eagles practice squad before going to Canada, where he played for Winnipeg for a couple of seasons. He then got himself into coaching. He was a high school football coach for 5 years and then ends up at Miami of Ohio, where he played his college ball. He was then the running backs coach at Indiana for 6 years, 2011 to 2016, then at USC for a season before that first tenure with the Chiefs. And then, as I mentioned, back to Indiana and then Notre Dame for a handful of seasons, the Raiders this past year. And now, if this goes the way that we all anticipate it going, he's going to become a member of the Kansas City Chiefs once again.
Yeah, and can I just say the running backs room and what happened in Vegas should not be a reflection on, I don't think, his ability to coach. I think that was more of a reflection on the roster of the Vegas Raiders, and that they're a mess. I mean, that was just a dumpster fire. That's more of an organizational issue than a reflection on his coaching ability.
No question about it. I mean, it's hard not to have that thought when Pete Carroll's there for a year. You go 3-14. You amass the number 1 overall pick, and Pete Carroll,
Chip
a guy
Kelly's
who,
your offensive
who's fired in the middle of the season, and then your head coach, the guy that hired you, is out when the season concludes. So there's a lot going on there in Las Vegas, and I think that it's still somewhat telling that of all those firings that were made, he is one of the few that still holds on to their job currently.
Right.
I got a couple messages in the text line. 918 says McCullough was huge with Kareem Hunt his rookie year. He actually wasn't on the staff Kareem Hunt's rookie year. His first year was in 2018, which was Mahomes' first year as a starter. That was Kareem's second year in the starting lineup, and that's when you had the off-the-field stuff, and we're not going to get too deep into the weeds on that one. Another person says, I'm not too enthralled at the idea of bringing back a former coach either, but perhaps the Chiefs are tipping their hand at who they might draft. Apparently, McCullough played a factor in Love wanting to go to Notre Dame.
Maybe. Is that a bit of a reach?
I mean, I don't think it's
possible.
It's definitely a reach, but it's more of a reach across the table than a reach across the room.
Fair.
If that's if we can go through that analogy, I guess you could say. I mean, yeah, he was the running backs coach at Notre Dame when Jeremiah Love was recruited to go there, right? He spent 2 seasons coaching Jeremiah Love on top of the time he spent recruiting him to South Bend before he took the Las Vegas Raiders job. So obviously there is a prior relationship there, and what it will, I still hold on to the belief that they're not going to draft a running back with the 9th overall pick. Yeah, I still hold on to that. I don't think it's a good idea. I just don't. I've never thought that it was a good idea. You know, as much as I loved prospects like Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley, I didn't think that they warranted top 10 picks. That's just where the NFL is today.
I would disagree with that, but I see where you're coming from.
It's just the league as a whole today has running backs don't win Super Bowls. I mean, even Saquon Barkley, as great as he is, was pretty ineffective in that Super Bowl win for the Eagles. You'd argue that the Chiefs game planned so hard for him that it opened things up for Jalen Hurts in the passing game, and I certainly will grant you that. He did a great job. He was very, very helpful in getting them to the Super Bowl in the first place. But it just seems to me like, and especially for a Chiefs team that hasn't thrown a huge priority on the running back room and establishing the ground game, you would use a top 10 pick. You would use that high a capital to go after a running back when you could potentially sign somebody in free agency and draft one, which we have gotten, fairly unconfirmed reports that I will preface off by saying that that's sort of what the Chiefs are looking towards, is to bring in 2 backs at least for this Chiefs team. And it raises the question, what does this running back room look like next year? If you bring back McCullough, you're looking at Isaiah Pacheco, who just finished the last year of his rookie contract. Do the Chiefs entertain the idea of bringing him back? Kareem Hunt. Obviously, he and McCullough have a prior relationship that he and Isaiah Pacheco do not. Do they consider bringing Kareem Hunt back? Or is it more likely the scenario I just mentioned, and the one that I would prefer, of go find a running back in free agency? I'm not saying you go to the top of the heap and you give, as much as I would love, as much as I do love
with that.
Kenneth Walker. I love Kenneth Walker. I would love to see him in a Chiefs uniform. Unfortunately, the things that I've been talking about over the last 2 months, he has done a phenomenal job of showing that to every NFL fan base over the last 3 weeks in the playoffs. And he made himself a lot of money this offseason. He probably took himself from the $8 to $10 million a year range to the, $10 to $14 million a year range potentially. And that might be a little too rich for the Chiefs' blood. I think Breece Hall will be very expensive, maybe a little bit more worth it because he's a much younger back. But Why not a Rico Dowdle? Why not a Javonte Williams after a resurgent year this past season with the Dallas Cowboys? There are running backs that you can find in free agency that would be an upgrade to what the Chiefs currently have in their running back room. And then in the third round, fourth round, if it's the Allen kid from Penn State, I personally am a huge fan of Emmett Johnson from Nebraska. I love the way he runs the football. I love his fit for the Chiefs' offensive scheme, that West Coast style 3-down back. He can catch it out of the backfield, run between the tackles, outside the tackles. I like the idea of him, but man, who knows? I have absolutely no idea. It feels like there are so many questions for the Chiefs this offseason. More questions than we are accustomed to.
Correct.
since not since Andy Reid necessarily, but since Brett Veach took over as the general manager and Patrick Mahomes assumed the starting quarterback job. 913-586-7965. I'm looking at a lot more messages in the text line. We'll continue this discussion here on the other side of the break with the rumors, the speculation swirling about Delane McCullough returning as the Chiefs running backs coach. They requested permission from the Raiders to talk with him today. What could we see the running back room for the Chiefs look like next year? And what kind of an impact can he make on this ground game in Kansas City? That's next. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. You're listening to After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
The Chiefs offseason show with Bob, Dusty, Cody, Alex, and CDOT is Tuesday, February 10th, starting at 9 a.m. right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station. You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Hey, y'all. It's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. I spent years on the mound giving everything I had, and now I feel every inning in my knees, back, and shoulders. But I didn't want surgery, and I sure didn't want to be sidelined. That's why I turned to QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics Medical Director Dr. Christie and his team use regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No surgery, no meds, and no downtime.
Whether you're teeing off at the club or chasing the grandkids around, QC Kinetics helps you get back to doing what you love.
Call QC Kinetics now and schedule your free consultation. Natural joint pain relief with real results.
Don't let the pain slow you down. I didn't, and neither should you. My friends at QC Kinetics, they'll take care of you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Did you know that you can watch all your favorite shows right on YouTube? We're live streaming Fesco and Dusty, Cody and Gold, The Drive, and After Hours all day long. So if you want to look at the beautiful Alex Gold, interact with Cody Tapp in the chat, or gaze at the ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens, just go to YouTube and watch them while you pretend to work. Go to our channel, hit subscribe, and stay up to date with 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
Talking Kansas City Chiefs here on this Thursday night edition of After Hours. Our text line is 913-586-7965. I got a lot of messages in the text line that I want to take a look at, but we've got somebody on the phones real quick. Let's go to Steven in Kansas City. Go ahead, Steven.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. So listen, now I want you to bear with me, okay? I used to fly the Chiefs around back in the 70s, and I love the organization. But I have to admit, guys, I listen to you and Carrington. I'm like, what is everybody just like wondering about? So let me just speak my mind, okay? And that's why I say this. Look, it's all about relationships. So you take a guy like Eric Bieniemy, he had those players eating out of his hand because he knew the work ethic and he knew how to get the best out of them. So what I'm saying with bringing him back, this is good because he's already made a statement that this league is not a pansy league. You got to have a plan, and you got to go out there and compete every day. And if you don't, you got to go. And so when he comes back here, it's Clark's job to get the talent that he needs on that front line and in the running back. But I'm serious, guys. You guys keep going through all these things. No, it's not that hard. You can recreate what you had before if you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes and you get the right players. It's all about relationships. And Eric Bieniemy can get more out of any player than I know. What do you have to lose? And as far as bringing somebody else in, I'm sure Bieniemy, if he's connected to him, he'll tell him, look, this is what you got to do, man, or you got to go. We run a tight ship around here, and I'm close with my players, and that's what you got to do, and we're going to get the best out of them. Now, before we go, let me just make this point. Rick Bowness is a great NHL coach, you guys, a fabulous coach. And you know what? He's 70 years old. He was with the Winnipeg Jets last year, and he's been in the league for years. He brought those guys back to the playoffs, and then he retired. He had some health issues. But guess what? The Columbus Blue Jackets called him seriously 3 days or 6 days ago on his boat in Florida. He's good friends with the general manager. He said, will you come out of retirement to help these guys? You know what he said? Yes, I will. And guess what? He held a press conference, and he said, when I come back to those guys, I have the talent, but I'm going to get more out of them because I'm going to communicate with them every day, and I'm going to get close to them, and I'm going to tell them, when you come here, you have to compete or you're gone. But I'll give you everything you need, but I can only do. You have to do the work. And so he had a tough hand. And guess what, guys? Since he's come back, they went from like the bottom. There's 6 wins and 1 loss because it's all about relationships. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah, it sure does, Steven. I appreciate you calling in. And there's part of what you're saying that I agree with, right? I mean, that's part of the allure of Eric Bieniemy is he is a fiery guy. He is a disciplinarian. He is a, for lack of a better term, light a fire under your ass sort of a coach. There's no argument to be made for that. I think for those of us, and you mentioned myself, you mentioned CDOT, our concern is that the last couple of years in Kansas City, and maybe it has been a lack of talent that's been the problem, but it's felt like another underlying current, another underlying issue for this Chiefs team has been that they've become a little bit predictable. Like, it just feels like what's coming on first down. What's coming on second down. What's coming on third down. And the opponent knows it too, right? I understand the thought of bring back the guys that made it work because it worked so well from 2018 to 2023. It was so good. And then the offense just got stagnant. And was that because Bieniemy left or, yada, yada, yada? It might be a lack of talent. But is that lack of talent because you continued to just recycle out the same guys? When Bieniemy left, you brought back Matt Nagy. It was. I mean, Matt Nagy was already on the roster, on the staff, I guess, as the quarterback's coach. But you see the point that I'm trying to make. The defense needs more defensive line depth. Well, let's bring back Derek Nottie. And the Bengals just cut Mike Pennell, so let's bring Mike Pennell back. This team has, in some ways, for better or for worse, whether you agree or disagree with it, become a little stagnant, become predictable. Whether that is because the players themselves have less of a will, which I doubt, and maybe Eric Bieniemy, if that is the case, can reinvigorate that. I just think for those of us who are slightly concerned about bringing back the same old names and the people that have been in the same old circles for so long, is that the ideas will not change. And maybe I'm wrong about that, right? McCullough has been away from the team for 5 years. He's been in the college ranks. He's been in the NFL ranks. He comes in with some fresh ideas. Bieniemy in the same way, especially this past year with the Chicago Bears and what he's learned from Ben Johnson and his extremely complex offensive scheme, which rivals really only Andy Reid in Kansas City, I would venture to say. It's just a concern that people have of, this is what the Chiefs have done. You're right. Relationships are absolutely everything, as they are in any business, right? It's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. Sometimes it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And that's all well and good. And knowing all the guys in the room allows for the thing to run like a well-oiled machine. But if the machine itself is inherently flawed from the beginning because of years and years and years of using the machine, sometimes you got to change out some parts. And they've done a little bit of that, I guess. They brought in a different wide receivers coach with no affiliation to the team. These two new quality control coaches that have no affiliation with Andy Reid or the system. And maybe that's enough. Maybe.
Well, I think part of what they're doing and bringing back some of these coaches, as well as bringing in some new blood, right? Kind of a mix of the two. A lot of that, this past year wasn't just, it was for sure, right, some issues with the scheme and it being predictable and some of that, but also a lot of it, again, talked about this last week, was a lot of it too was just the small things. I mean, a lot of those close score, like it was the penalties in just in ridiculous in crunch time. It was a lot of the little things that we're used to seeing the Chiefs do that put them over the top and made them better than some of these teams that maybe were equal as far as talent goes. They weren't doing this year, and that's what part of bringing in some of, right, old blood and new blood, but adults, bringing some of these adults in the room that will hold these players accountable and will make them pay attention to some of these smaller things that make up for maybe a lack in creativity in some of the schematic things.
There's one small part of this that I'm and maybe I'm just being too optimistic. Maybe I'm glass half full. I don't know, but bringing back Eric Bieniemy, who's spent the last few seasons, spent last year as a running backs coach. You bring in a new running backs coach that is what he does. I'm hoping that there is going to be a newfound commitment to the ground.
To your example, I don't think they need to completely rebuild this machine. I think they need to upgrade some parts, right? But they also need to do some fine tweaking and cleaning of some of those existing parts, which means some of those details, paying attention and focusing on some of the details. And Eric Bieniemy said that in his most recent, when he was, what was it? Maybe
it was yesterday.
Yesterday, where he just said we also need to go back and look at some of the things we were doing and clean up some of that stuff, not just completely redo everything. So we'll see, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we heard that from Andy Reid pretty much all of last season.
I know the message does get stale.
Maybe Eric Bieniemy is just the kind of guy that can do that. Maybe he is the guy that can quote unquote clean it up. But I mean, there were times where it felt like in press conferences that was the only phrase leaving Andy's mouth.
Yeah.
Like it felt like you could make a drinking game out of it. Like take a shot every time Andy says clean it up in a press conference. Most of us in the media wouldn't have been able to walk out of the room had that been the case. So, I don't know.
You're not wrong.
I'm sort of I guess you could say a realist, a pragmatist in this way of like, I got to see it. You can talk the game all you want to, but I have to see it before my very eyes before I'm willing to buy into it. Because Eric Bieniemy, for all the disciplinary stuff that he is so acclaimed for, all well and good, but let's not sit here and pretend like the offense was the only one with a disciplinary issue this past season.
Yeah.
Okay. I would argue that the special teams unit was worse when it came to mistakes, mishaps, penalty issues, kicks out of bounds, missed field goals, missed extra points. The punting game was better this last year. I will absolutely say that. Matt Araiza took a jump from year 1 to year 2, but it just seemed
that only
like
gets you so far. And when that's the highlight,
when we're complimenting the
Right,
punting game,
right.
We've sort of lost the plot here in Kansas City, okay? Because we have been spoiled the last 7-8 years. We don't think about the punting game because we have Patrick Mahomes. So if we have to punt, something has gone catastrophically wrong. And when we are complimenting how well the punting was this past year, something is not only wrong, it's broken. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I have been up and down about what they've done. I love the fact that they brought in a wide receivers coach and a running backs coach who have been there, done that. Not just at the college level, but at the NFL level. For years, they have done it. Bringing a guy like Eric Bieniemy in, still a little bit, I don't want to say reserved about the fact that it was Bieniemy himself, but for what the Chiefs want out of an offensive coordinator, I'm not sure you could have done much better than Eric Bieniemy, if we're being honest.
Not bringing in an offensive coordinator that knows they're not going to be calling plays.
Exactly. It's damn near impossible. And it's becoming more the norm in the National Football League when you look at Andy Reid and Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, LaFleur in Green Bay. You look at, of course, Joe Brady, who was just hired to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And we'll talk a little bit about him today because he spoke with the media and had some interesting comments that I feel like contradict a little bit of the ownership's comments from a week ago. It's becoming a little bit more normal for offensive coordinators to not always assume the play calling duties as they always have, which is also, again, it's just such a weird new trend in the National Football League because you don't see that when it's the other way around. Like, you don't see defensive-minded head coaches maintain the defensive play calling. I shouldn't say never.
There's exceptions.
There is exceptions to the rules, certainly, but it is far less frequent than what happens on the offensive side. So, for what the Chiefs wanted, EB might have been the best you had in terms of your pool of candidates to be the offensive coordinator because most of these guys, especially younger guys, they are using an offensive coordinator job as a stepping stone to the ultimate goal, which is to be a head coach in the National Football League. And it's extremely hard to do that when you're not calling the plays. Just ask Eric Bieniemy. 913-586-7965. We didn't have a chance to get to those messages in the text line. Let's do that coming up. You're listening to After Hours. Logan Weber here alongside my producer tonight, Julio Sanchez. Stick around. We're here till 9 o'clock this evening on 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Well, it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one final kickoff, your final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is the 60th Super Bowl, and FanDuel is making sure that you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, maybe you're riding with the underdog, or you're building that last same-game parlay. So whether you're betting the spread, who's going to win MVP, or who you think's going to find the end zone, FanDuel's got you covered for this year's Super Bowl. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, it's done. Finito. So it's your last call for football this season on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. And visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued, non-withdrawal bonus. Like 7th Street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Jewelry Gram. Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. We have just the right gift for your sweetheart this Valentine's Day. Any style, any budget. Like heart-shaped necklaces, birthstones, or hand-matched diamond studs. Getting engaged? Create a dream ring and choose from natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes. Come see us in store or at shaneco.com because a friend wants you to win Valentine's Day. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Belden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. We've been talking Kansas City Chiefs here to begin the show tonight. We had a chance to visit with a few callers, and we've got a lot of messages in the text line that I want to go over. So I got an 816 here, and again, our text line is 913-586-7965. 816 says, we all would have loved to see Mahomes play with Jamal Charles. That's a fair sentiment. I think any Chiefs fan on planet Earth would have really, really enjoyed to see him. We have a chance to watch him play with Jeremiah Love, a potentially generational talent. It could be special.
Generational talent? Do we think he's a generational running back?
I personally don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at generational talents, when I look at some of the best running backs to enter the NFL in the last 15 years, I look at
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, I look at Bijan Robinson.
Correct.
I look at Christian McCaffrey. I look at Derrick Henry. I don't know if Jeremiah Love falls into that echelon.
I see him more like a Brees Hall-ish kind of situation, which isn't bad, but do you take him in the top 10?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know that I do.
When I look at what he accomplished this past year, it's incredibly impressive, no doubt about it. 1,300 yards on just under 200 carries, literally 199 carries, 18 touchdowns. He averaged almost 7 yards per touch. 27 grabs out of the backfield, another 280 yards through the air, 21 total touchdowns on the year. Fairly solid.
But what did he do against top-tier competition?
Yeah, and I'm looking at 1,372 yards, which won him the Walter Payton, won him the Doak Walker Award for the nation's best running back. 1,372 rushing yards. That would have been good for the 11th best rushing total in college football a year ago. Ashton Genty, Cam Scattaboo, Amarian Hampton, Bryson Daly, Trey Stewart, R.J. Harvey, Caleb Johnson from Iowa, Taj Brooks out of Texas Tech, Dylan Sampson, and Mekhi Hughes from Tulane. All had more rushing yards than that a season ago. Now,
it's a bit deceptive.
Fair. And you can make the argument all of those guys I just mentioned had at least 230 carries. That's 30 more carries than Jeremiah Love had this year. He had the Prince kid behind him, so some of those running back touches were maybe taken away from him. But I don't know. I think Jeremiah Love could be a great player. I don't think Jeremiah Love is worthy of a top 10 pick. I just don't. If the Chiefs are looking for somebody that can hit 1,000 yards on the ground, there are plenty of players I think you can go to before you use the 9th overall pick on Jeremiah Love. Just my opinion on the matter. I'm not saying that I don't like Jeremiah Love. If the Chiefs wanted to use the 9th overall pick and trade back to 14,
correct,
and he's still sitting there, I'd be a little bit more willing to entertain the idea. But using top 10 draft capital on a running back, in any situation, I have a great deal of pause with.
I'm not even sure if they got back to somewhere mid-round 14, 15, somewhere 17, 8. I don't even know if I would be crazy about them using a draft pick on him there.
I wouldn't be either.
Depending on what's on the board. But
I'd be more okay. I wouldn't be vehemently opposed to it is maybe the best way I can describe it. Another 816 says ETN, Williams, Hall, and draft Emmett Johnson in the second is what I'd do. I don't think you need to draft Emmett Johnson in the second round. I think he will be there in the third round. In fact, he might even be there in the fourth round, unless he absolutely blows people away at a combine or a pro day. Then maybe he approaches that late second round territory. But I would venture to guess if you're sitting there with the 9th overall pick in the third round of this year's draft, you should be able to nab him.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. The good thing about where we're drafting at right now is that we're drafting at the top end of each round,
right,
not the back end of each round, which helps.
Yeah, and I mean, considering Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, I like Breece Hall as a player. I think he's got a solid fit for the offense.
He's going to want. I don't know fits what the Chiefs want.
When you look at Breece Hall, I mean, his numbers don't necessarily jump out at you, obviously. But like even this past year, he still amassed a 1,000-yard season.
Even with the Jets. Yeah.
Even with the Jets being as bad as they were.
You're going to be signing him based off of what could be, not what he's done, essentially because of the organization he's coming from.
And his age is going to be a huge benefit to him in these free agent conversations because he hasn't turned 25 yet. I mean, he's the youngest back in this free agent pool. A lot of wear and tear
on him, though, man.
Yeah, it's kind of impossible to argue against that. I mean, in the last 3 years, he has amassed close to 700 carries. He has dealt with injury issues already in his college career, or in his NFL career, I should say. His rookie year, he only played in 7 games because of injury issues. However, I think there are some Chiefs fans, whether they want to admit it or not, that are massive advocates of Breece Hall because he's a Metro kid, right? Because he's from Shawnee, and they love the idea of bringing back a local guy and those sorts of things. And I get the appeal, but I also would. I mean, for a 24-year-old back with a ton of carries already under his belt the last 3 years, and the price tag that's going to be placed on him, it does give me a little bit of pause with him. Makes me glad that the Chiefs didn't waste draft capital and trade for him this current regular season. Somebody said Caleb Downs at 9, please. I would be much more okay with Caleb Downs at 9 than I would be with Jeremiah Love.
Yep.
Now, for my money, I'm looking at if Bailey is there at 9, right? If Ruben Bain is somehow there at 9, which I highly doubt. Yeah, Wichita kid. Sorry, not from Shawnee. He's from Wichita. I apologize. Talking about Breece Hall. Yeah, there's no way Ruben Bain's going to be there at 9. And not with the way that he played in the college football play. He was the best player on the field.
The saving grace might be some of the measurables because his short arms, if that's what you want to use. But yeah,
he's got short arms and little hands.
Right.
Oh, shut up. People were saying that about every tackle in this rookie draft class, and they were the best position group of anybody in this rookie class. From Membo to Will Campbell before the playoff struggles, I will argue. Josh Simmons was. I mean, even Josh Connerly had good performances this year. So I don't buy into the short arms, small hands argument with some of those guys. Ruben Bain was the best player in the college football playoff, regardless of position. Pound for pound, he was that good. So I don't think he'll be there. If he somehow is, it's a no-brainer to take him at 9. But if Bain is gone, then you have to see, is Bailey still on the board? I personally really like Peter Woods out of Clemson as an interior defensive lineman.
It's growing on me.
I really like him as a prospect. If he sits there at 9, then I would like to see them potentially take a flyer on him. These wide receivers are going to be interesting to see. Like, is Carnell Tate and or Jordan Tyson going to be there at 9? You pair that with the situation with Rashee Rice. What's that going to look like? How is that going to unfold over the next 2 months before we get to the NFL draft, or 2.5 months? There's a lot up in the air right now. And with Caleb Downs at number 9, he's maybe the best safety prospect to enter the NFL draft in the last decade.
And safety is a position of need.
Yes, because I don't think you're going to be able to afford to bring Brian Cook back.
But do you use a top 10 pick for safety like that?
I don't know. That's the question, man, right? I mean, I truly, truly do not know. And when you look at, he's sort of considered the veteran in the back half of that defense, which has been a staple of Steve Spagnuolo, right? It was Tyrann Mathieu, and then it was Justin Reed, and this past year it was sort of Brian Cook because he was the oldest guy in the room at that point. If you let him go and you draft a safety at 9, then you're looking at a 5th-year player option Trent McDuffie as the veteran voice in your locker room. And what's the guarantee that he's going to remain on your roster long-term, right? Because he's going to warrant a ton of money. I still think that the Chiefs should and probably are at least listening to possible offers on Trent McDuffie this offseason.
I lean towards that too. And I think it's a little early for having these discussions. They are fun, but free agency will kind of, I think, tip the cards a little bit in maybe which direction they could or should go.
Completely agree. 913-586-7965 is our number. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. We'll get to more of your texts coming up here on After Hours on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus continues. Live from Australia. Featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski.
He is an animal.
Defends his belt at home in an explosive rematch against Diego Lopez.
You gotta be kidding me!
And the always dangerous Dan Hooker.
Yes.
Throws down with powerhouse Benoit Saint-Denis in a high-action lightweight showdown.
There's never been anything like this. Let's go.
UFC 325, Saturday, January 31st, only on Paramount Plus.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
That's a thought. Somebody in the text line says, we should just wait until like the 7th round. Maybe take a random dude from like Rutgers. Surely that's a move.
I mean, look, short term it kind of worked out for what, a year ish.
I don't think you can.
I wouldn't recommend that move.
I don't think you can do it.
Sure.
No, third verse, same as the first, is not going to play well in Kansas City.
You sure?
Okay, you can't do it with Pacheco and then 3 years later, do it with Brashard Smith, and then the following year do it again.
Yeah, why not? It's worked out well.
I don't think.
Right?
I don't think it'll play.
It hasn't. Okay.
I don't think it'll play.
All right.
No, I mean the Chiefs haven't had a 1,000-yard rusher since Kareem Hunt's rookie year.
It's not good. It's not good. Hey, they've had, but you know what? To be fair, on the other side of the coin, they've had a lot of success, you know?
Yeah, fair point.
A lot of Super Bowls.
Hard to argue with that. No. Hard to argue with that. Is it crazy to say I don't even think Love is better than Genty? Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't disagree with you.
I don't think that's close.
No,
honestly.
I do not disagree with you. I think everybody would collectively agree that Ashton Genty was a better prospect coming out of Boise State with the year he had last year with the Broncos than Jeremiah Love has this year. I mean, if Ashton Genty would have been playing at Boise State this year, he might have won the Heisman Trophy in a unanimous selection.
Yeah.
I still believe he should have won the Heisman Trophy last year anyway.
I think he should have. I don't know about this year, though. I don't know.
With the way Mendoza
With
played?
the way Mendoza played and that national championship game. Oh, man. I mean, I watched him a little bit in the playoffs, but, man, he was
I'm still trying to act as if it didn't happen.
I really hate that the Raiders have the first pick. I mean, they're probably going to ruin his career, but at least they have a little bit of light at the end of this tunnel.
They have got to find the right
QB
guy.
purgatory.
They got to find the right.
They're a little late in the game, aren't they?
No, I mean for a head coach.
Yeah. I mean, who's out there that you're gonna trust with your number 1 overall pick?
Yeah, I would say like the first name that comes to mind is Nate Scheelhaus from the Rams. But
I guess
reports yesterday are that he says he's going back next year. So doesn't sound like he's a name that they're going to be considering. It felt like they were really looking at John Harbaugh quite a bit, but the Harbaugh to the Giants thing happened so quickly, it maybe caught him by surprise. I don't know.
That roster is just so atrocious up and down. I mean, they have a couple good pieces here and there, but for the most part, that roster is just
they've got young names that stand out at certain positions.
Yeah.
Right? Like having a left tackle like Colton Miller is certainly a great start on your offensive
I'm
line.
a huge Brock Bowers guy.
Huge. I loved the year that Trey Tucker had at wide receiver, but he's not a wide receiver 1. You got to do more with that position group, certainly.
Yep.
And you still have Max Crosby on defense. At least
you got Ashton Genty back there. Nobody's blocking for him, but
at least we think you've got Max Crosby there. There's a lot of discussion about him getting traded. So
he wants out now.
I don't know. Yeah, they got a long way to go, to say the least. But you got to find the right man to lead this thing, and you're exactly right. When it's you and the Arizona Cardinals as the only 2 teams without a head coach left, that's a really bad sign for you.
And you were 2 of the first teams to kind of start your head coaching search?
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination. It is not a good look for you. And, I mean, because for my money, the Cardinals head coaching job, let's open up every job in the NFL, okay? All 32 head coaching jobs are open. The Cardinals' job is the worst one in the league.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't think it's particularly close.
Yeah. And they're getting there's going to be a new quarterback there, right? There's
100%.
no way they take Kyler Murray into next
Not
season,
after the freaking turmoil that was this season.
Yeah.
There's just no way that you bring him back. They're going to do everything they possibly can to trade him. They may even eat 90% of his contract to get rid of him.
Correct.
Is what it feels like in Arizona. And you're not going to bring Jacoby Brissett back.
Hey, trade Tua. Just let's just do a little switchy flippity flop there, and that might work.
I think that would be incredibly hurtful to both of them. I don't think that would just exacerbate the end of both of their careers, in my opinion.
Maybe,
Just, it'd be like, I don't know, switching from beer to light beer. I don't know how else to say it. That's
beer to liquor. Switching from beer to liquor.
That's hurtful to
maybe
beer.
Not even that. I don't even know. I don't know what that comparison would be. I mean, but it's a pretty equal trade, would it not be? I mean,
I'm
probably still have to. I need to look at the contract situation, but I know it's not that far off.
Is that like, is this too off-putting to say it's like switching from crack to cocaine?
No, I'd say that's pretty accurate. I mean, I'd like to say you're being hyperbolic, but you're really
both
you're
of them
really
are really
not.
bad
You're
options.
not,
They're
yes.
both really bad
That's correct.
options. I don't see how it benefits either side.
Yeah.
913-586-7965 is our number. We'll talk about much more coming up, including some Kansas City Royals news, and how about some college basketball to look forward to over the weekend, including a massive game for the Jayhawks as they host BYU. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. You're listening to After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
This message is brought to you by Pizza Hut, because if you're yelling hot on Sundays, why not yell pizza first, Jonas?
I mean, that's what I'm saying, man, especially when it comes to Pizza Hut. It's so good.
How about the Big New Yorker, Jonas? That's right. It's their biggest pizza, bro. And right now, it's just $10.
I mean, LeVar, that just smells and tastes like success. And for only $10, sign me up.
Before the first hut, grab the Big New Yorker and you're set for the whole game.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121.
The Chiefs Off-Season Show, Tuesday, February 10th at 9 a.m. on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
In Royals-related news here in Kansas City, there's quite a bit of it. Let's get the bad out of the way first. This whole Royals Stadium situation is getting weirder and weirder seemingly by the day. I at this point, it feels like it's got to be downtown or they may not have
stupid.
The Royals.
So stupid.
I mean, the Royals announced this week that they're not going to move forward with any kind of plans at the Asperia campus over in Overland Park.
Can we stop right on this point right here? Wasn't this already known? Like, didn't Kansas... This is so stupid. Didn't Kansas already say they're not interested in the Royals. Didn't they say that like a couple weeks ago?
Yes.
Basically after the Chiefs decided
Yeah,
they're
they
moving
said
that side of the line?
like the 70% star bond thing, they weren't going to move the proposal, the deadline back any further. There was talks that they would still be able to do something and get them like a 50%, not the 70% that was the original deadline proposal. So there was still something to be said for it, but it felt like
it felt like to me like your girlfriend broke up with you, and it's already out there. But now you're saying, oh well, now I'm breaking up with her, like after the fact.
Yeah.
But she's already broken up with you. Why? Like no one needs to hear that. Like
it's a solid analogy.
just go home, man. Just walk away.
It's a solid.
Stay
analogy.
quiet. They should have just kept it out of the news.
Well, at the same time, earlier this week, Clay County officials have declined to put any kind of stadium tax on the ballot this April, which has really kind of narrowed things down even further for the Royals, right? The most
They've lost all leverage. They have
Yeah.
completely lost all leverage.
really the most likely scenario now has to be the Washington State Square Park location. That feels like the most viable spot. It's over near Union Station, as many people know already. Many believe that it could be the front runner if it isn't already. I am sort of in that same boat, but I don't. Yeah, this whole thing is weird, man.
They have just screwed this up from jump. Like I don't know that this could have been handled any worse than how they've handled it, and continue to handle it. It's just comical at this point. I mean, I do want a downtown stadium, but
yeah,
man, the journey to get here has just been painful.
It has been, and there have been fumbles on the part of so many people involved in this situation.
Correct.
Right? Whether it be the politicians of Missouri or Jackson County or Kansas City, whether that be the Royals themselves, you know, I can't help but have the same thought go through my brain that went through my brain with the Chiefs situation. And that is, I don't care where they play as long as they're here.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Nashville's offering a ton of money for a Major League Baseball franchise right now. Okay. I've read reports that Charlotte, North Carolina is in the market to potentially, for a potential Major League Baseball franchise. So at the end of the day, whether they're on the Missouri side or the Kansas side, it would have upset me to no end 10 years ago when I was a high school or college kid. As long as they're in the metro, man.
How silly would it be to just have started this process 2+ years ago and end up right back where you started? What was the point of this last 2+ years?
Just saying to end up back at Kaufman?
No. To end up back. I mean, to the original spot
back
that they wanted.
Back to downtown.
Correct.
Yeah, just this weird roundabout, long-winded way of getting what you wanted all along.
Yeah,
seems kind of strange to me, but if that's the course of action they wanted to do, right? It sort of feels like a TV show that's gone on about 3 seasons too long.
That's correct.
Hey, man, you had a solid the idea here, right? You could have ended it in season 4. You really could have killed us, baffled us all with the series finale there. But, instead you wanted a 5th season, a 6th season, and a 7th season, and it absolutely collapsed on you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Game of Thrones.
Walking Dead all over again.
Yeah. How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
There's several examples out there. In other Royals news, we've got another Royal joining a roster for the World Baseball Classic. It's now up to 6. Mikel Garcia is officially joining Royals captain Salvador Perez on the Venezuelan team. Bobby Witt Jr. is, of course, a part of the USA team. Vinny Pasquantino and Jack Caglione playing for Team Italy, and Seth Lugo playing for Team Puerto Rico. He was on the team back in 2017 as well, started several games for the Puerto Rican national team. So 6 Kansas City Royals players competing in the WBC. And how about a little bit of a look into a former Royal? Huh? How about that? Nelson Velasquez. Everybody recall the name of Nelson Velasquez. he is now a member of the St. Louis Cardinals, signing a deal with them. It is a minor league deal. He is getting a non-roster invite to spring training. The expectation is that he may be on the opening day roster for the St. Louis Cardinals because of some injuries that are going on in their outfield. Lars Nootbaar is expected to miss opening day and start the season on the IL because of heel surgeries that he had this offseason. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting to see a former Royal in the news signing with a different team. Velasquez has spent the last couple of seasons he began his career with the Chicago Cubs and then came over to Kansas City. The other sets of news that I have include the Royals making another free agent move for yet another pitching arm. They signed Hector Neris earlier this week. Yesterday, it was announced that they were signing Alex Sanchez. And now today, they are signing Eli Morgan to a minor league contract. Morgan made his MLB debut in 2021 as a member of the Cleveland Guardians. His best year came in 2022, where he had a 3.38 ERA in 50 games that he appeared in, including a start. Since then, it's sort of been a give and a take. In 2024, his last year in Cleveland, he had a 1.93 ERA across 32 relief appearances. However, with the Cubs last year, in only 7 games with the big league club, a 12.27 ERA. He is 29 years old. He'll turn 30 in May. Again, this just feels like another depth piece for the Royals that they can hold in AAA in the event of injury issues with the Major League roster. Their bullpen is, frankly, the strongest unit they have right now. Their starting pitching, I think, is extremely solid as well. But, I mean, when you look at, you already had Estevez, Lucas Ursig, you brought over Matt Strahm back from the Phillies, and you acquired Mears from the Brewers, who had a really, really good year last year. On top of McCarthy and Lynch, Schreiber potentially, I don't really see why the Royals are bringing in so much pitching help.
I mean, those are all 3, I think, 1-year deals, right? So
yeah, just minor league contracts.
They're
yeah,
not they're swing and a miss. You have some assurance policies, some insurance policies there in case something were to happen. I don't think it's a win-win. There's nothing to lose there.
Reports are also surfacing that Vinny Pasquantino absolutely wants nothing to do with his upcoming arbitration hearing. I can't say I blame him. Those never go well for either side.
Those are so
situation.
awkward.
They're incredibly awkward.
Yeah.
I so wish that they would have been able to come to a long-term deal to avoid this, even if it was just a 3-year deal to avoid the arbitration altogether, kind of like what they did with Bobby and with Michael Garcia this past offseason, Cole Reagans, so on and so forth, because it always ends up being a situation where a player requests one amount of money, the team offers less, and then you have to bring in this judge, and the argument is the player trying to justify the amount of money that he asked for, and the team arguing why he doesn't deserve that amount of money.
All the negatives.
It's a mudslinging contest, and it never goes well. I mean, I always think back to, and I know that using a Yankee as an example is not the best idea in Kansas City or anywhere for that matter, but I can remember watching the ESPN documentary a few years ago that came out about Derek Jeter, right? The captain that came out on ESPN. It was like I think it was a 10-part documentary, kind of like they did with the Man of the Arena with Tom Brady. And he talked about after one of these times when his contract expired, having to go into arbitration, right? When he reached that point and getting into those rooms with Cashman and Steinbrenner and coming away hurt by it. a little bit miffed at the way that he was treated by the Yankees front office and ownership when he requested a certain amount of money and the Yankees argued he didn't deserve it because he wasn't good enough. He didn't do this well enough. His fielding was laxed. He didn't have enough home runs, yada, yada, yada. And, it strained the relationship for a while. Ultimately, didn't matter as much because, well, they're the New York Yankees and they were winning a lot of baseball games. So Jeter and the front office were able to let bygones be bygones. The Kansas City Royals, on the other hand, maybe don't have that luxury in a situation like this. I can already hear some of the arguments that are had. Vinny's like, I just had the best year of my career. I hit 30-plus home runs, 100-plus RBIs. I played in 161 games. And the Royals are like, yeah, that's all great. But what about the 2 years prior to that, where you missed huge chunks of the season because of injury? What about the fact that you're not a high average guy traditionally throughout your career? You don't draw an outstanding number of walks. How about the fact that while you're a solid glove, you're not gold glove caliber at first base. You don't steal bases. You don't have outstanding speed. I can already hear the mudslinging that happens. And hopefully both sides are fully capable of remaining professional throughout this thing, but I can't help but be a little bit nervous about how this thing plays out. You always have to be a little bit nervous with an arbitration hearing and how it plays out. I don't know. I really do not know. 913-586-7965 is our number. Somebody in the text line said the Royals had East Village planned out and were railroaded to the crossroads.
I don't know about railroaded. They really honestly didn't have their ducks in a row.
No, sorry. Again, this whole thing, we've argued ad nauseum about this situation. I wasn't a resident of Jackson County when the ballot measure came in April of 2024. Had I been, I would have voted no.
With the half-ass plan they came in with, correct? Yes,
I'm not gonna vote on the Chiefs. First of all, throwing themselves into this situation 2 months before the ballot measure is voted on in April because they won a Super Bowl and were trying to ride the coattails of the plan, and then the Royals at the same time, when they're like, hey, we're going to put the stadium here and here's our rendering of it. No, wait, actually 4 days later, we're actually going to put the stadium here and here's our rendering of it. No, wait, a week later, and actually this is going to be where the stadium is. This is the rendering of it. No, wait, actually we're going to go back to our first option. We've got another rendering. Every week we were getting another AI-generated look at what the stadium might look like. But it was apparent to everybody. They didn't really know what they were going to do. So we're just supposed to write a blank check for that? The residents of Jackson, we're just be like, yeah, let's do it. Go right ahead. Leave this stadium that we have helped you cultivate for the last 40 years, and this area has so many great memories of, for the possibility of a stadium that we have no idea what it looks like. I don't think it's a great idea. Got some messages about Vinny, a little Joe Brady in the text line. Let's talk about it. We'll do that on the other side of the break here. After Hours, 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. This is your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Football's biggest game is right around the corner, and you can get in on all of the action with Underdog right now in Missouri. If you're not on Underdog yet, then you're in luck, because new customers score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. And I love playing on Underdog because it's easy. Just head to the app, make entries on if a player will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. And if you get them right, you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. Plus, there's new promos dropping every day in the app. So if you like making entries and winning money, then Underdog is the place to be for the big game. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today. Use promo code BOB to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code BOB. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over in present Missouri. Terms apply. See assets at underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. 40,000 people. That's not a crowd. It's a small city. It's also the number of people choosing pain relief without surgery. 40,000 people who said, stop before you replace my knee or my hip. Before I put my life on hold, there has to be another way. And they found it at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in cellular level treatments that revitalize joint tissue naturally. Patients who thought surgery was the only answer are getting their lives back thanks to QC Kinetics advanced regenerative treatments. Surgery isn't always the answer. QC Kinetics uses safe, natural treatments to activate your body's healing power with zero downtime. Get started now to ease inflammation and slow the progression of osteoarthritis. Call them today because 40,000 people can't be wrong. Before you say yes to surgery, do your research and call my friends at QC Kinetics. The consultation's free. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Running a small business is a daily balancing act. One late shipment, one price hike, one employee issue, and your whole month, maybe the entire year, could be in trouble. That's where LendSeek comes in.
I needed $100,000 fast to keep up with inventory demands. LendSeek had me funded the same day I applied. Between their AI platform finding the fastest deal and a dedicated funding specialist guiding the process, it couldn't have been easier.
Our AI-driven platform matches your business with the right program from over 100 funders, up to $2 million in as fast as 24 hours. Don't wait until it's too late. If you've been in business at least 2 years with more than $500,000 in annual revenue, qualifying is simple. No collateral, no out-of-pocket costs, no hassle. From lines of credit, term loans to revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply in minutes at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Hey, it's Josh Vern. You're in before I head out to Arizona to see the boys in blue in spring training. I'll be hosting the Royals Rally Show live from Kauffman Stadium on Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9 a.m. The biggest names in the organization will join me for exclusive one-on-one interviews as they get ready for the 2026 season. If you missed any of the show, it'll all be available afterwards on the All Things Vern podcast channel. The Royals Rally Show, Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9, right here on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Somebody in the text line says something I completely agree with. He said Vinny basically had back-to-back 100 RBI seasons. Just give him the $500,000 difference he's asking for and move on. 1,000%.
Yep.
Right? That's what the reports are. Vinny's asking for 4.5. The Royals are offering 4. We're really going to go into an arbitration hearing and risk cooler heads not prevailing over a $500,000 difference when your team collectively has a payroll of $126 million, and he was one of the 4 best players on your baseball team last year.
Sounds silly to me.
And when you look at the tweet that Vinny put out, he has since deleted it. It makes me want to pay him even more just to avoid the possibility of what an arbitration hearing could be like. He said, quote, "I'm very curious how this is going to play out in multiple ways. And honestly, mostly from a data perspective." He then puts in parentheses, "This hits close to home because I'm about to go into a room and hear how awful I am." He was talking about how it started out as a conversation about the ballpark moving the walls in, right? Them changing the dimensions at Kauffman. But that comment right there, I'm about to go into a room and hear how awful I am. Can we just avoid that possibility altogether? I think everybody collectively should be okay with him making $4.5 million instead of $4 million. The guy just had 30 and 100. He hit almost 270. What are we arguing about?
Sounds like a very previous regime type of thing to do.
And like I said, Vinny later deleted the tweet, but God, I really don't want to have it. And we've seen this go poorly so many times. Right? I mean, remember how bad the Corbin Burns arbitration was back a few years ago with the Brewers? So bad he wasn't even a member of the team for 2 more years before he got traded to Baltimore. Bo Bichette had a terrible arbitration situation with the Toronto Blue Jays. Well, what does he do? Signs with the Mets this offseason in his first time as a free agent. You know, there have just been so many examples of the arbitration process and the flaws embedded within it kill relationships between a player and the organization that they are attached to. Many times an organization that signed them or drafted them. I don't want to see that happen with Vinny because the fans here in Kansas City, we love Vinny Pasquantino, not just as a player, but as a person, as a personality, right? I mean, I've sat in with Cody and Alex on numerous occasions to have Vinny on as our VinFL insider. You know, Vinny is a fun individual to be around, and his teammates love him. The fan, it seems like a win-win for everybody. He's productive on the field. His teammates love him. The fans love him. We're really willing to risk all of that over $500,000, which I understand any of us that aren't involved in sports saying, it's only $500,000 seems completely absurd. But in you got to think about the context of it. Like I said, the Royals have a $126 million payroll. $500,000 to one of your best players is going to break the bank in order to avoid this situation altogether.
Better make that the outfield signing somewhere. Put that money to good use, I guess.
Yeah. That $500,000 is really going to
make a difference.
That's going to move the needle with another prospect for sure. And you look around Major League Baseball at some of the other arbitrations that are happening league wide. Like, it's not like the Royals are so far apart on the money that it makes no sense for them to just cut bait and give it. Right? What about Tariq Skubal? Right? Like, he's asking for $32 million from the Detroit Tigers, which frankly is an underpay for Tariq Skubal.
I was going to say you give him whatever he wants at this point, right?
The Tigers are offering $19 million.
It's a big gap.
Huh?
Little bit.
Detroit, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And you think
that's a slap in the face.
And you're like, damn. And then the Royals are like 4. Vinny's like 4.5. Royals go 4.
I said what I said.
How did arbitration come to be? Seems like everyone ever should have been able to see how terrible this is. Arbitration came about the same way that most things come about. Very, very rich individuals trying to hold on to every last penny that they own. That's how service years became a thing.
Power
arbitration, moves. You know. That's why college athletes weren't allowed to get paid for 100+ years, because the people that run these organizations, that run these professional sports leagues, want to line their pocket with every penny they possibly can. And how do they, the best way to do that is to take money out of the pockets of the people that are making them that money. That's how arbitration becomes a thing. That's why the NFL implemented these, and I don't think it was the worst idea. I think that it's actually played well in the NFL. But after the Sam Bradford contract, they're like, you know what? No, it's going to be a uniform thing. We're no longer entering into contract negotiations with rookie. They're going to make X amount of dollars. Although the Cincinnati Bengals tried their damnedest to break their own rules.
Bengals
the NFL,
Bengal.
this NFL team had the league put these rules in place to protect you, and you're the one trying to screw it up, Cincinnati. That's nice. Well done. Well done. And then after all that, they're like, you know what? We missed the playoffs for the second straight year. Zach Taylor doesn't seem to be getting the job done. But you know what? Let's hold on to him. Let's keep him around. One more year, you know? Okay. It's sort of strange in my mind to see that Sean McDermott doesn't have a job and Zach Taylor still does.
How every other coach in that division got let go, and they probably, of any of those teams, underachieved more than any of those other teams in their division?
Literally. I mean,
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Two coaches in that division that have a Super Bowl win were fired, and Zach Taylor's not. How are you going to give Lugo and Garcia a contract but fight Vinny over $500K? I don't know. I legitimately do not know.
No.
I would love to have a reason for you. I'd love to find out what that reason could possibly be right now for J.J. Piccolo and John Sherman and the Kansas City Royals, but we shall see. I'm going to do some digging into arbitration and how it actually came about. This is going to be, because, you know, I went through and kind of gave my 2 cents of how it happened, but, you know, the creation of salary arbitration fascinates me because it's different than, I mean, it happens in other areas of society, but baseball is seemingly the only professional sport that it happens in, if that makes any sense. How did arbitration, this is great radio, start in Major League Baseball? Began in 1974 as a part of the CBA that was, passed that year between owners and the Players Association to resolve salary disputes for players with 3 to 6 years of service. It was instituted to curb increasing labor unrest and holdouts, offering a middle ground between team-controlled salaries and free agency. So it was a way for players to argue for more money in their last 3 years with an organization, while still allowing for the owners of Major League Baseball teams to hold on to players for extended periods of time. It was the reserve clause, which allowed teams to bind players in perpetuity. Wow, that's the AI overview via Google that it gives me. The union pushed for arbitration to provide fair compensation for players that were not yet eligible for free agency. Maybe if we hadn't given future bench player Jonathan India $8 million, we could afford to pay Vinny the extra $500,000. I'm not writing off Jonathan India yet. I'm not. I understand the thought process because he did have a very disappointing first year in Kansas City. It was his first year with a brand new team in a brand new ballpark, and let's face it, and I'm not the only one saying this. J.J. Piccolo and Matt Quatrero said as much in their end-of-year press conference. They didn't use Jonathan India correctly. They put him at second base. They put him at shortstop when Bobby needed a day off. They threw him at third. They threw him in the outfield. They didn't put him at second base, which is his natural position. That's what the plan is this year. I am going to wait to reserve my judgment on Jonathan India until I see what he does as the Royals' everyday second baseman. I still have a tremendous amount of hope that I hold on to with Jonathan India. I'm not expecting Jonathan India to all of a sudden become a 270, 275 hitter with the Royals. I don't expect that. That's not who he's ever been. That's not what the Royals brought him over to be. If that's who he becomes, fantastic. But if Jonathan India, who hit 233 last year with a 323 on base percentage, can be a 250 hitter with a 350 on base percentage, like his career average has suggested during his time in Cincinnati, that's a huge boon for the Kansas City Royals. Especially if he can do it as a potential leadoff hitter or in the bottom half of the lineup as the lineup turns over to the top of the order and you get your run producers back in, behind him. A guy that gets on base a third of the time? I'm not willing to say that it's over for Jonathan India. Not even slightly. People forget how impactful India can be. He's a guy that gets on base. He's a guy that can score runs, not necessarily drive in runs, right? He's not going to hit 20 home runs a year, 25 home runs a year. Maybe he can. He did it his rookie year with the Reds, and since then it hasn't quite been the same situation, but I'm not over Jonathan India yet at all. Hindsight is 20/20 with India. I think collectively around the league, everyone viewed it as a good deal. It's baseball. You're going to have bad seasons. I still think it's got the possibility of being a good deal, right? I mean, you look across at the guy that was traded away with Brady Singer. If the Royals don't make that deal, are the Royals a better or a worse baseball team this past season? I'd argue they're a worse baseball team. You wouldn't have had as much need for Noah Cameron, which I think hurts you. Chris Bubich may not have been in the opening day rotation for the Kansas City Royals if Brady Singer's still a part of this team. I would venture to say he's absolutely not. And then you miss out on an all-star pitcher for the first 100 games of this season and 90 games of this season. So I think that, frankly, the Royals got the better end of that deal with Jonathan India last year, even if he had a down season. Because it's not like Brady Singer lit the world on fire in Cincinnati either. Just my thoughts on the matter. Baseball is the only one who has a minor league. The other leagues' players have real money contracts. Yeah. Vinny is a literal cornerstone foundation piece, a leader in the locker room, and frankly, the next Perez, voice-wise for the team. He should be getting double. I mean, he can become that veteran. Absolutely, he can. I mean, trying to fill the shoes of Salvador Perez will be a tall task for anybody, and I imagine that the Royals are wanting that player to more likely than not be Bobby Witt Jr., especially because he has the long-term contract already. Somebody said, this is an interesting thought. Sell the Royals, replace them with an NBA team, convert Royals Stadium into an arena, boom, problem solved. I'm an NBA guy. I'm about converting. I'm a basketball guy, but converting Kauffman into a basketball arena.
But hey, I love NBA too. I'm for it.
Hey man, if the Royals leave, can we
all
take
things equal? I traded
can we take the stadium complex? Team. Let's put an NBA arena where the complex is. What do you say?
Like it. Yeah, let's put it somewhere else. But
I mean, fair. Where are you going to put it?
Sprint Center. We already got that.
It's not going to happen, man.
I know.
It's not going to. They're never going to put it at the T-Mobile Center. The T-Mobile Center would lose money.
They make too much money doing other things.
They'd lose money. They got events going on 300 days out of the year at least. They'd have to give up dates, for an NBA team. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense for them. And I've heard that directly from
build
influential
a new stadium, Washington
people.
Square Park. Why not?
Yeah, put it right next door. Just build another stadium complex over to Washington Square Park.
Right, that's
fine. Put them at the Hy-Vee Arena. How about that? Formerly Kemper.
Move out to Kansas. Why not?
913-586-7965 is our number. More text messages floating around. I got some NFL news, some college football news we may get to. Before we wrap things up here on this Thursday night edition of After Hours, Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Delden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Well, it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one final kickoff, your final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is the 60th Super Bowl, and FanDuel is making sure that you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, maybe you're riding with the underdog, or you're building that last same-game parlay. So whether you're betting the spread, who's going to win MVP, or who you think's going to find the end zone, FanDuel's got you covered for this year's Super Bowl. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, it's done. Finito. So it's your last call for football this season on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. And visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued non-withdrawal bonus bank. 7 Street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Right now, save $16 on a pair of Rain-X Rugged XL wiper blades, plus get 2 times O rewards points only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Let's go.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Creed Humphrey has officially been announced as a finalist for the NFL's Protector of the Year award. First time that award is being handed out. The Philadelphia Eagles hired Sean Mannion. He's the quarterback's coach for the Green Bay Packers as their next offensive coordinator.
A crap job that it's going to end up being.
Yeah. Sean Mannion actually...
They've said good things about him in Green Bay.
Played in the NFL for quite a long time. He was a third-round pick back in 2015 out of Oregon State. Played for the Rams from 2015 to 2018. One of the only guys that was, a St. Louis Ram and a Los Angeles Ram. Then spent a couple of years with the Vikings and then bounced around between the active roster and the practice squad of both the Vikings and the Seahawks. Career ended. Wow, that's rather abrupt. His career ended in 2023. He was an offensive assistant for the Packers for a year, quarterback's coach of the Packers for a year, and now he's the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, that's because the Eagles, who wants to be any kind of coordinator for them on that carousel? Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about an organization that is willing to part ways with coaches rather
And who
quickly.
wants to be under that coach, and who wants to deal with that fan base? My gosh.
Man, I don't argue with that. I personally wouldn't want to. That's for damn sure. We got some college basketball coming up over the weekend. K-State is off. I think that is a huge benefit to K-State basketball fans everywhere. I could not imagine the disappointment in watching that team right now. And before you attack me, okay, I say that not as a KU fan, because I'm not. I don't say that as a Mizzou fan, because I'm not. I'm an Iowa fan. I have no ill will towards K-State, but their basketball team is bad. And Jerome Tang has got to go out the door. Unless this thing 180s in a hurry, which I don't imagine is going to be the case. Mizzou will be in action on Saturday, taking on Mississippi State. Mizzou is sort of in a lull of their own with a lackluster, to put it lightly, non-conference schedule. I mean, their best win is Minnesota, who is below 500, both in the Big Ten and overall. So they're not an NCAA tournament team. Their only other, I mean, they didn't beat anybody else in their second best non-conference win might be like South Dakota or SEMO. And they're 4-4 in the SEC. They've lost 3 of their last 4 and 4 of their last 6 after starting the conference slate 2-0. You've got a home game against a Mississippi State team that is actually below you in the conference standings. They're 3-5 in the league. They're 11-10 overall. You got to win this game in Columbia to right the ship and get yourselves going, because at 14-7, you're not a team with just a handful of games left. 10 games remaining. If you go 7-3 and you get to 21-10, you're probably still going to have to win a game or two in the SEC tournament to get in. Not a good spot for Mizzou to be in. And then when you look at their SEC schedule that they have remaining, they have to go on the road to Texas A&M. They got to go on the road and play Arkansas, as well as play Arkansas at home. They've got Vanderbilt at home as this season dwindles, churns itself along. It's not a great spot for you to be in if you're Mizzou. Meanwhile, probably, I think it's fair to say it's the game of the weekend, maybe, in college basketball. Saturday afternoon, KU hosts BYU, a matchup between the presumptive top 2 picks in this year's NBA draft, Darren Peterson of Kansas, AJ DeBansa of BYU. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm going to have a chance to visit with Seth Greenberg of College Game Day tomorrow about this game. I'm filling in for CDOT on the drive. Rob texted me about that this afternoon, and it's like one of those moments in this business where you're like,
yes, please.
Huh?
Yep.
Excuse, I'm interviewing who exactly? Seth Greenberg? Like that, the guy on College Game Day I've watched my entire life? That's weird. But here we are. One of those things. And rightfully so. This is a huge matchup in college basketball. 2 teams that are not only vying for their standing in the Big 12 right now. Both teams are sitting at 5-2, trailing Iowa State, Texas Tech, Houston, and Arizona for one of those top 4 seeds in the league. These are 2 teams that are separated by 1 spot in the latest AP Top 25 poll at 13 and 14, which puts them both firmly on the 4 line as it stands right now for the NCAA tournament. A win like this could, a quad 1 at that, not only puts you a game ahead of the other in the Big 12 standings right now, it puts you in a better position to stay in the 4 seed line, possibly leapfrog yourself into the 3 seed, and for KU, continue to build momentum, because I don't think anybody will argue when I say the Kansas Jayhawks are playing their best basketball of the season right now. And that includes what they did in that early season tournament. You know, they beat Notre Dame and Syracuse and Tennessee, and they were playing good basketball then, but it's hard to argue with a 21-point beatdown of Iowa State, who was undefeated at that point. You then put an 18-point domination on Baylor. You go on the road without your head coach, who's dealing with a medical issue, and beat Colorado. And then you go to Manhattan to play a rival, a game that more often than not, you kind of toss the records aside. And in the second half, you beat the brakes off of Kansas State. Continue that ride, because it's not getting easier. You've got this game against BYU on Saturday, and then you got to turn around 3 days later and go to Lubbock to play the 11th ranked team in the country right now in Texas Tech. Then you come back home and play Utah. And then 2 days later, who comes to town but the number one team in the country in Arizona? 3 games in a 4-game stretch against teams ranked in the top 13 of the current AP Top 25. Oh, and then on Valentine's Day, you get to go to Ames for a rematch against Iowa State, the number 8 team in the country. 4 top 13 ranked teams in a 5-game stretch. You got to start hot. Beat BYU. Darren Peterson with a big game, makes a statement case for the number 1 overall pick against Debanza head-to-head. And keep the ball rolling. At 15-5 right now, keep the ball rolling, because a 2 seed is not out of the equation right now for KU. By any stretch of the imagination. A win against BYU is a phenomenal continuation of that goal. A loss could be a backbreaker. 913-586-7965 is our number. Somebody said, good win by McCollum and Sturts over USC. Go Bearcats. You better believe it. Shout out to my Hawkeyes beating USC last night at home. It was ugly. The first half especially was, I turned it on at like the 9-minute mark of the first half. Iowa had 8 points. It was not good, but they rallied. They got themselves a win. They're above 500 in the Big Ten now. All's right with the world, and I'm always going to be up for a shout-out to Ben McCollum. As a Northwest grad, as an Iowa fan, I love me some Benny Mac. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. We're going to come back and wrap things up here tonight on After Hours. 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Land Insured My Blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane. Since 1929, Shane Company has helped millions of customers find their dream engagement ring. I still hand-select every ruby and sapphire center stone, choosing each one for its unique color and life. We're proud to offer the widest selection of beautiful colored gemstones for your engagement ring and fine jewelry, because a friend wants you to have nothing but the best. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Refresh your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Reimagine your bathroom with up to 40% off select faucets during our Bath Savings event. Need it today? Order by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location. Same-day delivery on eligible in-stock items. Subject to availability. Fees vary. Visit Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for full terms.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Wrapping things up tonight on this Thursday edition of After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. Went through a lot. Some Royals news. We talked a lot about Vinny Pasquantino and the arbitration process here in the second hour of the show. We led things off talking about the Chiefs, namely the two coaching hires they made today, as well as the request that is being reported. The Chiefs hired former Villanova wide receivers coach Nate Pagan and Coastal Carolina safeties coach CJ Cox as quality control coaches, presumably one on offense, one on defense. It would match their position groups. The Chiefs also have requested permission to talk with current Raiders running back coach Dylan McCullough, who, no surprise, was a member of the Kansas City Chiefs coaching staff from 2018 to 2020. He was the running backs coach when Eric Bieniemy first took over as the OC. He was the heir apparent to Eric Bieniemy, who went from running backs coach in 2017 up to the OC job. So those guys very familiar with one another. The running back room is getting in my opinion, a complete overhaul. New offensive coordinator with a running back background, a new running backs coach with a vast experience coaching that position group, which is fantastic. A much different philosophy than what's happened the last couple of years. Same thing with the wide receiver coach position. And more likely than not, a new stable of running backs outside of potentially Brashard Smith is kind of the only guy that I could see sticking around. With all the problems that the Chiefs had at running back, they still didn't feel it necessary to have Carson Steele on the active roster, so I don't expect that to be the case next year. I mean, I keep looking around at what they could possibly do. I certainly see a scenario where they draft a running back and potentially sign a free agent back at the same time. We've mentioned a lot of names. I'd love Kenneth Walker, but he's shown the entire world that he is a serviceable 3-down back. Kind of shows me that the Seahawks weren't using him completely correctly. He'll be too high a price, I think, for the Chiefs this offseason. Where they'll go, it'll be fascinating to see. But I'll tell you one thing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it 1,000 more times until we hit April. Please don't take Jeremiah Love with the 9th overall pick.
Yep.
That's my lone request. For my producer, Julio Sanchez, I'm Logan Weber. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for getting involved in the text line. As always, it'll be Bink with you guys tomorrow right here on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought